You're listening to WTIM, your information station. It's time now for your expanded local news. Aquatic design firms are beginning to make their pitches to the Taylorville Park District for projects at Manners Park Pool. At a special meeting by the Taylorville Park Board, Capri Pools and Aquatics introduced themselves and presented their extensive design portfolio. The company is working on a pool project in Hillsborough and has also completed projects in Decatur, O'Fallon, and several other Illinois cities. Those eager for a new pool at Manners Park will have to be patient. Dave Weicker, vice president of Capri, says a new pool could open at best in August or September of 2026.
So the first would be a meeting within the first 2 weeks after if you assigned it to us. We would try to get a meeting with the board again and whoever else you felt would need to be at the meeting. And then we would get some feedback, and then Jeff would go back and come up with a quick design. I don't know how many weeks you would take to do something like that, just a quick concept,
A couple of weeks, we'd have something.
So we're talking about 2026.
Yes.
So construction could start approximately when would you, if you were given the contract here within the next few weeks, when could construction approximately start? And when would it be finished approximately?
So there is the IDPH thing. I know everybody's kind of saw them, but we turned Hillsborough in June and we still haven't heard from them. So they are in a 2 to 3 month pace, and they never ever sign one. I've never seen one ever come back on the first pass. They'll find something wrong, whether it's we wanted this on page 2, so now you got to resubmit.
Another obstacle that could impact the timeline or eventual product of these efforts. Park Board President Marlene Miller says the Park District is contractually tied to Burbach Aquatics in their past efforts to build a new pool, and they could owe heavy sums of money to actually back out of said contract.
Well, basically what she told me was that, excuse my French, but we're, this contract is pretty much airtight, keeps us from using anyone else for the next 5 years.
What if you pay them off?
She said you can ask them that and you can try to work with them through that. But she said, who that read this contract and told you to sign it? And I said, well, guess who? And she said, these people, well, it wasn't anything nice, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Weicker noted that Capri has contract attorneys and that they would be willing to look into the Burbach contract. The board approved a motion to consult their attorneys. Another potential bidder, Landmark Aquatic, will visit on Thursday, July 10th. Craig says unlike other design firms, Landmark handles both design and build of your pool project.
They've expressed continued interest, and he called a few times. So with his repeated calls, I called him back then, and I'll tell you what, he is all over it. He's just like Dave is. He knows his stuff. They have 7 offices across the nation. He has multiple projects within Illinois and close. And he is coming in tomorrow at 1 o'clock to look at our project and to talk to us. If you're available, please join us. We had to pick a time and just keep on going on this thing. They do design build, and let me give you a number that he threw out. I said, what do you charge? He says, we've done several projects. We just are finishing one up down in Collinsville, I think, for $9 million. And my design fees for Collinsville was $193,000.
Compared to theirs.
Yeah, but what was theirs for Hillsborough? Nothing.
Yeah, it was similar.
So I about fell over it.
Small-town Taylorville President Steve Craigs attended the special meeting. He played a notable role in finding prospective design and construction firms, including Capri and Landmark Aquatic. He says moving swiftly with these companies is what the Park District needs if it's to complete this pool effort, which began 5 years ago.
So you got design and build on the same team. And that's what we need to get the project done. You get it done effectively, you get it done at a much lower cost number, and you're going to get it done on a set timeline. So in my mind, we've got to move that direction and take it out of the 3-bid process down to a couple of select companies to talk it over with to see which one you folks want to pick that are both extremely capable design build companies. Now, the difference there is that Dave's going to give us a set price. He's going to give you folks a set price. And just like he just said with Hillsborough, if you have some adjustments, whatever, work that through. But that price, he's going to give you a plan set, and he's going to give you a price, and he's going to give you a timeline. And then he's on the hook at that point.
The next regular meeting for the Park Board is tentatively set for July 28th. Elizabeth Fines Workman is now the director of Lincoln Land Community College in Taylorville. She started the position on June 30th, following the retirement of longtime director Dee Kruger. Fines Workman has deep ties to the area and the college itself, having grown up in Taylorville. Fines Workman taught communication at LLCC for 8 years. She's also worked at a law firm and managed the Taylorville Park Pool. She holds both a bachelor's and master's degree in communication studies from Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. In her new role, she will lead the daily operations of Lincoln Land Community College, Taylorville. The center offers a range of programs, including college credit and non-credit classes, dual credit options for high school students, GED prep, and literacy tutoring. She hopes, however, to grow community involvement and continue offering quality education and support to students in our area. Fall registration is open and classes begin on August 25th. To learn more, call 217-786-2754 or visit llcc.edu/Taylorville. Much is being made over Governor J.B. Pritzker's decision to run for re-election. Despite overall strong approval ratings, Pritzker has faced criticism over his handling of fiscal matters, such as the state budget that he recently signed. This may affect his chances in 2026, and the decision to pursue re-election could have implications on a potential presidential campaign as well. Dr. Kent Redfield is a professor emeritus of political science at the University of Illinois Springfield. He says it is unusual to see a governor of Illinois even pursue a third term.
We've only had one Illinois governor that has won a third term. And we really only had four sitting governors who tried to get a third term. And, all of them were defeated until Jim Thompson came on the scene. And, he had a 2-year term where we're transitioning to electing our governors in non-presidential elections, and then he won 3 more terms. So he had 14 years as governor, and that's even nationally that's unusual. His 14 years actually ranks him 16th among every governor that's ever served in the United States in terms of how long they were in office.
Dr. Redfield believes the incumbent governor has a good chance of winning re-election. He cites Pritzker's approval ratings and the cash he has to draw from for campaigning.
Well, if you just look at general favorability polls, and they do these, nationally, everyone, firms will go out and they'll do polls in individual states and stuff. And so, he's not right at the top in terms of favorable rankings, but he's comfortably, above 50%. And so he starts with that. The other thing is it's hard to overstate the advantage that he has from being a billionaire, because you can spend your own money without limit. We can have contribution limits on private groups giving or third-party giving, but if it's your money, the Supreme Court's been pretty clear that you can spend your own money.
Once the gubernatorial election is over, the time will come to think about the presidential election in 2028. Pritzker has been floated as a potential candidate, and his name recognition and views on key national issues could work to his advantage in a presidential campaign.
As a sitting governor, he would have a lot more national visibility and credibility. The issues that he's going to be running on, things that he touts when he talks about his record, protecting, reproductive health care, education funding, strong defense of immigrants' rights. Those kinds of issues play well with the national audience. So, things that he's going to be working on in Illinois are things that give him visibility nationally. And he's not running to run for president at this point. It really just is, if that were, but it would still make sense if he were, because it keeps his options open.
Public opinion tracking site Race to the White House shows Governor J.B. Pritzker polling as high as 5%, among other possible Democratic primary candidates. More information on UIS's political science program is available at uis.edu/SPIA. Dr. Kent Redfield appeared as a guest on the WTIM Morning Show. This will conclude the first portion of your expanded local news, and it's brought to you by First National Bank of Taylorville.
Businesses move their accounts with less hassle than they've expected and more personal service than they've ever gotten before. We've been here for nearly 70 years, a true community bank that's not going anywhere. If you're ready to make a change, we're ready to help. First National Bank in Taylorville, first every time for nearly 70 years. Member FDIC.
Jake Simonton has been named the June Colleague of the Month at Taylorville Memorial Hospital. He works within the plant operations department as a mechanic and locksmith. Simonton's dedication to safety and service has made a real impact on others, earning him recognition from multiple co-workers who nominated him for the monthly honor. Since joining the hospital staff in 2022, Simonton has been known for his strong focus on safety and attention to detail. He follows strict protocols and measures, but still takes time to assess potential risks whenever new equipment is installed. He also ensures that safety guidelines are communicated with the hospital's administration. In addition to his technical skills, Simonton is valued for his responsiveness and problem-solving abilities. He is known to take initiative on larger projects by asking thoughtful questions and offering ideas that improve outcomes. His positive approach and friendly interactions with both patients and staff have also made a strong impression throughout the hospital. We here at Regional Radio News salute you, Jake Simonton, for this tremendous honor. American Legion Post 409 in Findlay is always looking to connect with and support their community. The organization consists of local veterans of all branches who are honorably discharged from duty and want to connect and continue to make a difference now as civilians. Events throughout the summer, including one happening later this month, allow them to bring people together. Alan Morrison is the Post's senior vice commander. He says the camaraderie between members is a major reason he joined after moving to Findlay.
Right. And it's the same thing, like when you're, going through all the motions in the military and you're doing your best and you're doing all those things, and you're doing it for your country, but more you're doing it to the people for your right, at your right and left. So it's an amazing thing, jumping out of planes and doing all that and having those people right beside you. But I can tell you the one person that I always thanked the most was God when that parachute opened up.
Right.
I was just like, thank you, God, every time. And of course we give each other heck all the time. I was Army, we've got Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and it's a good way to bond, and it's also a great way for us to give back to the community. So I truly love the Legion in Findlay. I love the people there. And we have a great time hanging out and doing events together.
The Post does what it can to support other local nonprofit organizations. Morrison says this is a big reason why his group does what it does.
Yeah, definitely so. We donate a lot to the community and local organizations. It helps out, it really does. And that's our main goal, is to help the community out. Right. And they might have a passion towards one organization or the other, but it's always nice. It's nice to give back. It always is. the community's great, you know, between Bethany and Findlay. It's a wonderful organization, and being able to give back to those kids at the high school is amazing. The Kimmer Village Boy Scouts. I mean, that's all part of our community and who we support. It's incredible.
Post 409 will be taking part in the Findlay Walleye Festival. It runs from July 25th through the 26th. They will be serving meals at their building as part of the event.
Friday, July 25th, and we'll be open from 4 to 8. And then Saturday, July 26th, will be open 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And the meals include walleye, fries, slaw, tea or lemonade. We have a ton of people coming in. I would recommend getting there early or waiting a little bit because the line is literally around the block.
Wow.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
It's incredible. People waiting to get in to eat.
The walleye-
Same dates. Yeah,
Okay.
everything's the same dates. And the Walleye Fest is great. I've never seen a community that can put things together like Finley. And I've lived a lot of places.
Mhm.
And it's absolutely amazing the things that they do there and the amount of people that come to the Walleye Fest. I mean, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
I've
We're
been
hoping,
there.
yeah, we're hoping for good weather this year. It was pretty warm last year, but we make it happen. And it's a nice way to people come into Legion. They can get out of the heat for a little bit, have a meal, and have a great time.
American Legion Post 409 is located at 216 East South 2nd Street in Findlay. More information is available at their Facebook page. Alan Morrison appeared as a guest on the WTIM Shelbyville Morning Show. The clock is ticking for President Trump to find a solution for China-based ByteDance to divest in TikTok or later face a ban in the United States. Upon becoming president, Trump signed a 90-day extension to allow his administration more time to find a buyer, but that deadline expires in early September. One person is critical of the president's extensions, and that's Central Illinois Republican Darren LaHood, who says a deal needs to happen sooner rather than later. According to recent data, 1/3 of U.S. adults use TikTok, which translates to approximately 170 million Americans. The current 90-day extension ends on September 17th of 2025. Moving now to obituaries, which can be found at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and are brought to you by Sutton Memorial Home. This is Chad Sparks.
When a loved one passes, grieving family members and friends often are confronted with dozens of decisions about the funeral arrangements. Sutton Memorial Homes in Taylorville and Nokomis have been helping families in the area for over 55 years with these often difficult decisions. They offer pre-planning, traditional funerals, and cremation. Austin and the staff at Sutton Memorial Homes' goal is to make your family's transition easier in their time of need. Sutton Memorial Homes, where caring is what they do best.
92-year-old Twyla Campbell of Mount Auburn died on July 6th. Visitation is July 11th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. Funeral service will be at July 11th at 12 p.m. at Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. Burial will be at Mount Auburn Cemetery. Funeral arrangements are being handled by Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. 86-year-old Patrick Kennedy of Muncie, Indiana, formerly of Taylorville, died on June 29th, and arrangements will be made for him at a later date. 94-year-old James Bryan Freeman Jr. of Taylorville died July 3rd. A private graveside service will be held at Camp Butler National Cemetery. Funeral arrangements are being handled by Asali Funeral Home in Taylorville. And 97-year-old Ellen L. Davis of Taylorville died June 30th. Her memorial service will be July 13th at 3 p.m. at Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. A private burial will then take place at a later date. Funeral arrangements are being handled by Sutton Memorial Home in Taylorville. Get details on these and other local news stories at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com, or you can continue to hear them every hour on WTIM. WTIM is your only local news radio.
Digital marketing